Imagine being a kid growing up in a place far from the city, where your world unfolds at the pace of carabao hooves, kicking dust over a sun-baked path. Rice fields stretch out infinitely as far as your eyes can go. Above you is the sky, and below you is the dusty and paved path that connects the small communities within your town. Sunbeams play hide and seek with leaves, weaving patterns of light and shadow across the mango grove. Here, in this tapestry of rural Philippines, life hums a simpler beat. Days are an orchestra of the busy thriller plowing endless fields, laughter echoing through nipa huts and the rhythmic thwack of lolo's bolo against coconut husks. Children bathe in rivers and climb trees. Some are busy building fortresses out of fallen banana leaves in the shade of towering palms. Their playground is the whole wide world. But as the sun dips below the horizon, shadows stretch long and menacing. Darkness cloaks the world, punctuated only by the chirping of crickets and the distant glow of kerosene lamps. In these long moonlit nights, imagination takes flight. Shadows morph into monsters. Rustling leaves become whispers of the unknown, and every creak of our bamboo house hums with untold mysteries. The air vibrates with stories, follows tales of tikbalangs, Patay's whispered legends of brave heroes and mythical creatures. But wait. We're not here to talk about the stories of those mythical creatures and scary tales of the night. Rather, we're here to talk about the LilWeird superstitions that we have when the night falls. Hey there, fellow explorers of the bizarre and curious. Welcome to LilWeird, the podcast where we embark on a journey into the depths of the peculiar, the enigmatic, and the downright strange. I'm your host, Jane, and I am thrilled to have you join me as we peel back the layers of the ordinary to reveal the extraordinary. Now, you might be wondering what exactly qualifies as weird in the LilWeird universe. Well, let me tell you. It's all about those little quirks and oddities that make life so wonderfully peculiar. From the eerie superstitions passed down through generations to the inexplicable phenomena that defy rational explanation, we're here to investigate it all. As someone who's always had a fascination with the unconventional and the offbeat, I've made it my mission to seek out the weirdest, most wonderful aspects of life and shine a spotlight on them. And I invite you, dear listeners, to join me on this investigative journey as we uncover the hidden treasures of the weird and the wacky. So whether you're a seasoned explorer of the unknown or just dipping your toes into the waters of the strange for the first time, I hope you'll join me for each episode of LilWeird. Together, we'll dive headfirst into the weird and wonderful world that surrounds us, one quirky discovery at a time. So buckle up and get ready for a wild ride as we embark on this adventure together. The weirder, the better. That's our motto here at LilWeird. Let's dive in and uncover the mysteries that await us. Hey there, fellow thrill seekers. Ever find yourself reminiscing about the quirky beliefs and traditions from your childhood? If you're a Filipino like me, raised in the charming embrace of the province, then you might know exactly what I'm talking about. Picture this. The sun dipping below the horizon, casting long shadows that seem to dance with secrets. Your mama's voice lays with a hint of furry calls you home. Don't linger too long, she warns, or you might meet creatures that emerge with the setting sun. Not your typical mosquitoes, mind you, We're talking unseen beings, the kind that bump into you in the dark and leave you with a mysterious sickness the next morning. Remember, she says, your soul can wander, especially in the twilight hour. So best to hurry inside, lest it gets snatched by mischievous spirits, leaving you pining and unwell. Okay, so let's talk more about this superstitious belief about your soul separating from your body and wandering around at night. So this is not your usual out-of-body experience. The difference between those two is during an OBE, you are mostly unconscious, or your physical body is in a very deep meditative state. But on this one, you're still aware and you seem fine, but the next day you're sick and couldn't get out of bed due to something mysterious or inexplicable reasons. And usually your parents or your older folks would advise you to visit the witch doctor or make an offering so that your soul can get back in sync. So there are top 3 reasons why this could happen to you. First is maybe you bump into spirits or unseen forces. Like what the adults say, when the sun sets, the spirits arise. So this is the time when they are most active and roaming around with us mere mortals. So as a kid, don't run around or play around, because if you bump into them, they might get offended and in turn they might inflict you with some mysterious sickness the next day. And the second reason is your soul just don't want to come home with you. It's just that plain and simple, like your soul has a mind of its own. And maybe because twilight hour is the time when the boundary between the physical world and the spirit world is at its thinnest. Maybe that's why your soul just wanna mingle with the other spirits. I'm not sure though. So what happens usually during this time is when you're a kid and you're walking around going home, your mom or your dad or whoever is with you, whoever adult is with you, will just call your name over and over again until you get home. They will say like, Jane, come here, don't get left behind. They will say that over and over again. And they are not talking to you physically. They are talking to your soul. And this is also common for the babies, not only during the twilight hour, but as long as they went out of their homes, and if they get back home, while they're going back home, their parents would call on to their names so that their soul won't get left behind. Okay, so the third one is if you're a kid and you just overplayed, you're tired and worn out, your soul might just get out of sync, like it slips from your body, maybe because your physical body is too tired. There's a belief like that. Yeah. So I have some personal experience regarding this one, but it didn't happen during the twilight hour actually. It happened when I was in 2nd grade and it was our lunch break. So my classmates and I decided to play dodgeball under the heat of the scorching sun. So we were playing outside and I was sweating, and so the next day I couldn't get out of bed. Like I've got this very high fever. And I told my parents what I did the day before that. So they decided to visit the witch doctor, and he said that there's something there where we played, and my parents needed to offer something because I apparently bumped into some spirits like that and I offended them maybe. So then my parents prepared some food and wine. So after that, I never returned to that place anymore. And I don't know if it's only me who got sick that day. But also looking back, I think there's some more reasonable explanation why I got sick that day. Maybe because of the heat, and maybe because I was dehydrated. And as a kid, I was not really that healthy. So, I don't know. But anyway, That's how we are in the province. We believe in those things, in unseen forces. So we respect tradition and we follow whatever the witch doctor tells us. Anyway, there's no harm in just giving offerings to the spirits, right? So in case you're still out late and experience some weird sickness the next day, you might also want to try to do some offerings, especially when you're visiting the province. A sticky rice and a wine would maybe do the trick. And next time, if you're walking home with kids, try calling their names so that their soul won't get left behind, and for safety purposes. Okay, so how about this? Ever notice the frenzied activity at home as night falls? Clothes whisk indoors, windows slam shut, and sleepers gathered like precious relics. Why the mad rush, you ask? Well, according to local lore, leaving your stuff out at night is practically an open invitation for dark entities to crush your slumber party. Okay, so apparently they believe that there is this roaming cult who looks for sleepers and casts some weird spells on it to make the owner follow whatever they want them to do. And worse, they could cast a spell on them to go outside their houses and they will strike the owner, or worse, kill them with bolo. This one is not really that familiar in our province, but in our neighboring province, there is this more popular tale about tikbalang. A tikbalang actually is half horse, half man kind of entity. So what they say is that this tikbalang is roaming around at when the night falls, and it will go knocking on your door, and if you open it, then it will do something bad to you, like maybe attack you or even abduct you. Okay, so let's get into some more mainstream beliefs. Ever heard of the old wives' tales about nighttime activities? Sewing? Nope, that will mess with your eyesight. Well, apparently, I think this one has some explicable reasons behind it, especially in the province where there's no enough light because they don't have yet the electricity. Of course, it will mess up with your eyesight, right? Cutting your nails. That could mean a family member kicks the bucket. Well, yeah, my grandmother would usually warn me that I shouldn't cut nails in the night because it's bad luck. Borrowing or lending money. Well, they say this one is the perfect recipe for financial disaster. So in case you want to return the money you borrowed, don't do it at night. Or if you don't have the plan to return the money, maybe always try to return it at night. Maybe they won't accept it because it's bad luck. Okay. And of course, sweeping. It also means bad luck. Yeah, even until now, our grandparents won't allow us to sweep at night. And the last one is sleeping with wet hair. They say that this will make you go blind. Well, my friend told me that it actually happened to her mom, one of her mom's students. Like, she slept with the wet hair and the next day she lost her eyesight. I'm not sure though if it's confirmed or what, but it's a common telltale here in the Philippines. Okay? So maybe if you don't want to risk losing your eyesight, then you might want to invest in a good blow dryer. Okay, so things are just getting interesting, and this is just the tip of the twilight iceberg. We've got more superstitions to dissect. So settle in tight because the night is young and the stories are just getting started. There's so much more weirdness to explore. So let's dive in, shall we? So we've covered the superstitions that haunt the early hours of the night, but now it's time to venture into the deeper, darker realms of the witching hour. Hold on to your seats, because things are about to get even spookier. Ever find yourself wandering outside in the dead of the night only to stumble upon a gathering of fireflies? Well, brace yourselves, because legend has it, where there are fireflies, a white lady lurks nearby, just waiting to make her eerie presence known. Best keep your eyes peeled and maybe your mouth shut just in case. So this tale about fireflies is kinda nostalgic and funny at the same time if I would think about it right now, because this brings back those childhood memories that I have during those power outages, where when we go outside, gather up and tell scary stories in the dark, and we're just trying to scare each other off but in a funny way. And then during these dark nights, there's a high possibility that we would see some fireflies flying around, and then we try to catch them and then put them in the jar. But then it's a different kind of story if we see these fireflies ganging up together, because the people in us believe that these fireflies will only gang up if there is a white lady nearby. Like, they say that it's the reason why the fireflies are ganging up in the first place is because of a white lady. And so if we see something like that, we will just retreat back inside our houses. And thinking about it now, seeing fireflies is like a magical thing. Not only that it's such a pretty sight, but it's also a rare sight. Because here in the city, there's a zero possibility of seeing any firefly. Not a single firefly have I seen here ever. And whenever I'm there in the province, I don't remember the last time I saw one. So I just miss those nights, because it brings back those fun childhood memories that we have. And don't forget, whatever you do, resist the urge to point at trees or count them. You don't want to offend the spirits that call those trees home. Otherwise, you might just find yourself on the receiving end of some seriously spooky retaliation. So admire from afar and always tread lightly around our leafy friends. This is also similar to the tale of counting stars at night. Apparently, it's not just some whimsical pastime. It could lead to a ghostly encounter if we are not being careful. So, my grade school classmate told me that if I counted the stars at night and walk around our house, well, actually, I forgot the full instructions, but that's the idea. Then, I need to look in the mirror, I think so, and then she said I will see a ghost. Anyway, speaking of ghostly encounters, this reminds me of a mirror ritual, rumored to reveal your future spouse under the cloak of darkness. Sounds like a match made in spooky heaven, doesn't it? Maybe we'll delve deeper into that rabbit hole in another episode. So, just in case you're stuck in the middle of the night, here's a friendly advice on how to navigate this spirit-filled world politely. Just remember to utter a quick tabi-tabi po, a respectful excuse me, as you pass through unfamiliar territory. It's a polite way of letting any spirits or unseen forces know that you mean no harm and you'd appreciate safe passage. Remember, manners go a long way, even with the supernatural. This is also applicable whenever you were throwing something outside, like water or whatever. Just say tabi-tabi po or bari-bari. Now, let's talk about those howling dogs. This might sound like a spooky soundtrack to your midnight stroll. In Filipino folklore, it's a sign that they're seeing spirits on the prowl. And if the howling persists, well, let's just say it's best to keep an eye for the Grim Reaper himself, or some spirits of the departed roaming around. I heard people say that this is a very bad luck and it means death. So the solution that they believe in is to offer the dog as a sacrifice in exchange for the person's soul or to counter the bad luck. Okay, so we're getting to the end of the night, and this one, before you tuck yourself into the night, here's a bit of bedtime etiquette. Make sure your feet aren't pointing towards any doors. It's not just uncomfortable, it's downright ominous. Why? Because apparently it mimics lying in a coffin. There is also a version of this that says, don't sleep with your head next to a door because it also mimics lying in a coffin. Anyway, whether bad luck or not, it's not advisable to sleep with your head next to a door because it's not only because it's bad luck, but also it's unsafe. Okay, here's another one. Maybe you've heard of this one. Have you ever heard someone grinding their teeth in sleep? Well, they say that this is bad luck, so here's the remedy. Grab some sleepers and then aim at their mouth and throw the sleepers afterward. Not only because you want to get rid of the evidence, but because it is believed that the sleeper would take the bad luck away. So you have to throw it away. Okay, so here's another one. If you happen to catch someone sleep talking, keep those lips sealed tight and don't you dare talk to them. Otherwise, you might just inadvertently steal their soul. And of course, as for the eerie feeling of being watched at 3 a.m., well, let's just say you might want to invest in some extra night lights, because if you feel like someone is watching you, then you're probably right. And they say that 3 a.m. is the devil's hour, so I don't know about that, but if you wake up anytime during your sleep, they say that really someone is watching you. Or else, someone is thinking of you. That's why their brainwaves are so powerful that they can wake you up even in your deepest sleep. Okay, so that's just some of the most popular superstitions at night, at least that I can remember of. I know there is so much more out there, but we don't have enough time for this episode. Maybe we will talk again on some other time. But wait, before we bid adieu to the night and its mysterious inhabitants, let's take a moment to reflect on the fascinating tapestry of Filipino folklore we've unraveled. From fireflies heralding the presence of a spectral visitor to the curious rituals that safeguard against unseen forces, our journey to the heart of superstition has been nothing short of captivating. In embracing the peculiarities of these superstitions, we discover a hidden joy, a playful dance with the unknown that reminds us to find laughter in life's little weirdness. So, here's to the delightful absurdity of it all, to the slipper-throwing remedies and the ghostly encounters that keep us on our toes. In the LilWeird universe, every quirk and curiosity is celebrated, transforming the ordinary into extraordinary. And fear not, dear listeners, for our exploration of Filipino weird beliefs and lore is far from over. Join us next time as we dive deeper into the rabbit hole of the bizarre, where every story is a tantalizing blend of beat, wonder, and just a dash of mischief. Until then, may your days be filled with laughter and your nights be tinged with tantalizing thrill of the unknown. Stay weird, stay wonderful, and remember, the LilWeird journey is only just the beginning. Thanks for listening.